Hi everyone, Leilani here with the beautiful, amazing, and talented Dorothy-Inez Del Tufo. I'm so excited and welcome to the Holiday Entrepreneur Summit and Passion to Profits and wherever else you may be viewing this video. Super excited today for our special guest. We are on like interview 15 or 16, almost to the end of Holiday Entrepreneur Summit. And I'm so excited that Dorothy-Inez has agreed to interview with us because she is someone absolutely wonderful and special in my life, which we'll share how we met here shortly. But first, I want to give her the opportunity to introduce herself to y'all. So I'm going to give the floor away here. Hi.
Hey, I thought you were going to introduce
I
me.
know. I was like...
Okay, so like she said, I'm Dorothy Inez, and that's Dorothy Inez. Don't call me Dorothy. And I'm the CEO and founder of Brilliant Leadership International. And what I do is, as Leilani knows, I am passionate about helping women show up and shine as their most confident, powerful selves so they can do that thing that just lights them up from the inside and of course on the out.
Love it. Love it. And that's exactly what you did for me and continue to do for me. And I just appreciate you to share a little bit about how Dorothy Inez and I met just a few short years ago. I remember my life was very different just a few short years ago. I was a single mother for about 4.5 years. And it was just my son Giovanni and I, and when I say single mother, I mean like single, like no, I was single, no family to drop, your kid off while you go to the club on the weekend, you know what I mean? Not even to babysit while I was at work. Everyone that watched my son I had to pay for, no child support check, nothing. My family's in another state. So it was dire straits there for a little bit. And I remember I found a way to go to this amazing event that Dorothy Inez had put together. And she had this drawing for a free consultation that I put in for. And when I spoke with her on the phone, because she had picked my name out of the drawing, I realized, oh crap, I want to work with her more, but I can't. And at that point, she did make me an offer. And I know, being in the business world, that, you don't want to insult people. You don't want to try and, nickel and dime them. So I told her pretty much, I'm sorry. I know you probably have people tell you, if they don't want to pay a rate or whatever, they don't have money or something. But just to be clear, it's not that. I would pay you your worth. I'm literally, I said, I'm just going to be vulnerable here and just tell you the truth. I'm in the process of selling my vehicle to save my home. And that's to keep a roof over our heads. And my son and I are going to be taking the bus and walking here. And that's what I've decided. And so there's $0. We're figuring out how to keep food on the table. Sometimes I don't eat, and he does. It's that dire. And she then proceeded to it was the beginning of her being just a very important key factor in the growth of my business. Because at that time, I really felt like I needed a feminine coach, and I had masculine coaches throughout so many years. What do you want to share, Dorothy Inez? What happened? What you decided to do when I told you that?
Yeah, it's something about you, is like, as you know, once a year I like to mentor at least one person. I like to give back. It's my way of giving back something that I didn't receive as a young woman, which was mentorship. And when you and I had that conversation, I just felt inside of me, you have to help this lady. There's something great within her. I mean, like, I saw you, and I really appreciated your vulnerability and your honesty. And so I went with my spirit, and my spirit said, you're going to help this lady. And I'm like, for real? Free? Really? And The answer was, yes, you are. And so I made you an offer. And we had, I'm like, if I do this, the expectation is that you do the work. And you did all the work. And I remember, when we came to the end and you said, Dorothy-Inez, I'm never going to forget this one day when I make it big, because you knew you were going to make it big. I'm gonna take care of you. And I don't even know if it was like 2 years later, this card shows up in the mail with a financial blessing for me. And I remember calling you up and tears were in my eyes because I was so grateful, because it was in that moment I needed a blessing. And you showed then the type of woman that you are and the integrity that you have, that you kept through. I mean, how many people tell their, oh, I'm gonna do this, and they don't do it because they're like, no, she forgot. Mm-hmm. I couldn't believe it. And so that just showed me the kind of woman that you are. And it's been a pleasure watching you grow. It's been 5 years, Leilani.
Wow.
5 years. I was at the very beginning of my coaching practice. I just left Seattle. So yeah, it's been 5 years.
Mm. Giovanni was a baby, like a toddler baby. Uh-huh. That is wild.
Look at y'all. Y'all have grown up.
Well, I'm just eternally grateful. I told you, and like you said, people say stuff all the time, but when I tell people I don't forget, or I'm not going to forget, I really don't. It's like I've got mental lists in my mind. I'm even grateful for the people who did something that shifted me from them doing something negative, not just positive. You know what I mean? You got to be thankful for all of it, everyone that is part of your journey, right?
Absolutely. And that's something that I teach, is that every person is divinely placed in your path because they're they're your teachers. Mm-hmm. And when you begin to see those situations, those people as teachers, as things that had to come into your path so that you can be who you were meant to be, you don't have bad days. You don't sit around moping and complaining and being a victim. You begin to be a victor. And so, that, my dear, is the best way to look at life. Sorry for calling you dear.
Oh, yeah. They don't know this, but a man in a chat condescendingly called me dear right before we jumped on live here. And I was like, oh, no. Who are you calling dear? I'm like, Dorothy-Inez, can we hold for a second? Because someone called me dear. And she's like, oh, yes, he called you dear. You better get on.
As we digress.
Right. So, reel it in.
But I am so proud of you, Leilani. I really
thank you.
Because I have a few years on you. Your sister, and as a peer, I'm so proud to watch you grow over these last 5 years.
Thank you. Well, it's been so amazing to be a part of each other's lives throughout the years. And I just can't wait till you guys get to know Dorothy-Inez a little bit more. So let's jump right into the topic. And because I think that she is just the perfect person to speak with you guys about authentic confidence. What are some things, because I know that you have reasons specifically that you were sharing. Can you share with everyone specifically the reasons why they need to have authentic confidence? Not just confidence, but authentic, right?
Yeah, I like how you clarify that. So first of all, let me just, I'm going to be talking a little bit from my notes because there's some things, my memory start getting old, start losing. But I want to explain the difference between confidence and authentic confidence, because I think that people need to understand that. When I look at confidence, a lot of times confidence is manufactured. Well, what does it manufactured mean? It's that make it. It's that comes out of ego, where so you've gone out and learned some self-help technique and you're trying to practice it, or you're putting that smile on your face when that's not really aligned with what's going on inside. Authentic confidence comes from a higher place. It comes from the spirit. It comes from the soul. It comes from the heart. And so when I was first coming up with this term, authentic confidence, I love doing word, research. And the word authentic means real, genuine, true, credible, reliable. That's the kind of confidence we want. We don't want the faked up, fake it till you make it. And then when you look at what is confidence, confidence is self-assurance, it's poise, it's spirit, it's boldness, it's courage, grit, fearlessness. And I love combining those words. So like real grit, genuine poise, genuine self-assurance. These are other ways that we can look at defining authentic confidence. And so it's really important as business owners, because most of you watching this are entrepreneurs, that you really embody confidence. That confidence isn't something that you're walking around in a mask or putting on some type of act, but it's truly who you are, because as you go out into the world and you're vibrating, because we're all vibrating energy out, people pick up on that. So if you're attracting in people who aren't confident, people who don't want to invest in themselves, you have to ask yourself, what are you putting out? What kind of message are you broadcasting through your level of confidence? Because people will know.
They will know. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hope that answered your question, because I honestly forgot the question.
That's okay. I was asking the reasons why you need to have the confidence, authentic confidence.
Yeah.
Right?
So I touched on it a little, and it gets rid of negative self-talk. You just need it if you're going to move to that next level in your personal life.
This is kind of a spin-off of that last question, but I want to ask it anyway, just in case it triggers like a different style of answer. So what are some areas that you see that when you are lacking in authentic confidence, where it can damage your life or it impacts your life, I should say, in any kind of way?
Oh, good. Now that's a juicy question. So where it impacts our lives is, number one, how we talk to ourselves. The thing, you talk to yourself more than anybody else talks to you. So even while I'm talking to you right now, you probably have some conversation going on. We all do it. The key is, what are you saying to yourself? When you've got confidence and you come up with a challenge, and I mean authentic confidence, and a challenge comes up, you're like, girl, get it. You can do this. You got this. Remember when you did such and such? Yeah, you put your shoulders up. You're like, hey. You know what I'm saying? But when you have that worldly confidence, that's that fake it till you make it, there's this battle going on. You're trying to be like, hey, girl, you can do this. You got this. And then that other voice is like, girl, please, you don't have this. Remember last time when you failed, when you did that last launch and nobody signed up? Remember that? Remember that? That's what happens. Or, so it's, first of all, it's your negative self-talk. Or you find yourself comparing. How many of you sit there and you scroll through this thing and you're like, oh, dang, she did such and such. Why is this not happening for me? She just hit 6 figures. What? She did, so you start comparing, and that keeps you paralyzed. That keeps you playing small. And then there's this thing of relationships. You have issues in your female relationships, your male opposite sex relationships, your intimate relationships, I should say, because these days It could be all different kinds of things, but your intimate relationships also suffer because you don't have the authentic confidence that is grounded in the truth of who you are and why you are here. Because then you don't need to be tripping when your man didn't come home on time. Where is he at? Or you didn't make that sale with this customer, because you know your value, you know your worth, and you're charging for it. That's the other thing. So those are 4 areas that women are, they're huge, that they're suffering with because they don't embody authentic confidence.
I feel like confidence a lot of the time comes from us doing things too that we're afraid to do, but doing them anyway. You know, what are your thoughts on that about, like, you know, I hear so many people trying to use fear as something that stops them, and that being an actual reason that is valid to them.
Yeah, and fear is actually a tool. Fear can be a catalyst if you allow it to be, you know, because you find out in the end there was nothing to be afraid of. I think about right now, last year or either year before, maybe it's been a year. Anyways, I walked on fire with Tony Robbins. That was one of 2 crazy things I've done. But I remember sitting there before I even went to UPW. I was like, nope, I'm not doing the fire thing, because I had just seen people got their feet burned in upstate California. And I was like, no, you're not going to burn my feet. And it was all in here. It was all in here. After 15 hours of work, I developed the courage to say, yes, I'm going to do this. And I did it, and I didn't have any burns on my feet like other people. So we can't compare what happened to Leilani. Oh, that's going to happen to me. Maybe Leilani's mind wasn't right, because some people did get blisters on their feet, but their mind wasn't right. And that's the thing, is that your mind has to be right. That's why the work that I do, Leilani, is I have to work on renewing the mind, because everything starts here, because we first play it out in our minds. Then we execute. So mindset is key.
Oh, that is powerful. That is so powerful. And it is something that was causing people. You brought up that the fire walk. Yeah, that's exactly like the only reason people had gotten burned when they did, or blistered, not even burned, you know, the blistering.
Yeah, they got the blisters. And yeah, your mind has to be right. And I think about another time I did something similar at the Millionaire Mind thing in Seattle. And we had to put these arrows, real bow, you know, an arrow.
Oh my gosh.
And break it. And I remember how terrified, because we had to sign a waiver that if it went through our throat, you put it on and you busted through with your throat. I remember I was terrified, but I said, I closed my eyes and I saw myself doing it. And boom, I busted through that. And I remember I had so much adrenaline. I picked the little Asian guy up and I was crying. I was like, I did it. You know? But it's having courage to walk through the unknown, because it's in the fear, it's in the walking through that you grow and that you become the next best version of yourself.
Absolutely. So what do you think, Dorothy-Inez, for 2019 for everybody moving forward? What are some things that they can easily excuse me, I've been on a lot of interviews. Thank you. I'm like, give me the word, girl. Give me the word. That they can easily implement immediately, you know, because we want to get this authentic confidence going right here, right now, and achieve our goals starting off like day one. What do you think?
So there's a couple of things. Number one is do the thing that scares you the most. I think the more, I did my master's thesis work, as you know, in confidence. I studied women and confidence. And the number one thing that helps you grow in confidence is mastery and practice. And mastery comes from practice. So constantly stepping into the very things that you're afraid of. If you're afraid of doing video, guess what, girl? Go do a video, and another, and another, and another. Because the more you will become the master of that fear rather than that fear being your master. So that's number one. Number two, I'm going to say, is to get a coach. And this isn't to sell something. It's really about having a coach or having a therapist, somebody that helps you work through your stuff. Because sometimes, which we talked about on another interview, women think, oh, I'm confident. I don't need any work on my confidence. But somebody on the outside knows and sees, because they see the action or lack of action that you're taking, and they hear the things that are coming out of your mouth. And oftentimes those two things, what you say and what you do, are not aligned. That's why we don't need to hire another business coach until we get our confidence, our authentic confidence in place, so that we are built up inside so much that we can execute the very things the business coach is telling us to do. Because otherwise, you'll keep seeing no action. You'll keep saying, why are they getting six figures and I'm not? You'll be a whiner, you'll be a victim, and it's time to step up in the next year that's coming and be the person you were called to be. Quit playing small, quit playing scared, just do it, like Nike said.
Just do it. Just do it. Oh my gosh. Just do it. Dorothy-Inez, I love how you spoke to, because I'm a business coach, and I'm my main thing is that point where I cannot and will not, when I notice it, I know some people, they think they have that confidence already, and it may get past me. I can't recognize everybody instantly what's going on in here immediately, right? I'm going to go off of what you tell me, but I know I've worked with people in the past where they needed to get their confidence level up before they should have been working with me, because I'm very driven, and I'm like, here's the tools, go do it. Let's do it. I'm going to give you everything you need. And what you're saying is so huge, because if someone comes to me thinking I'm going to solve their problems, that's not going to happen. But if somebody comes to me saying, I'm ready, I'm driven, and I'm at that point, then that's where I can help them. You know what I mean? And I think what you're talking about here is a lot of people aren't ready for that, and they want to skip the step without doing that inner work first. And that's the only way they're going to have success, if they deal with, making sure they have that authentic confidence inside themselves before they try and, I think when I came to you, I wasn't there yet. I was there for you, but not for someone like me. You know what I mean? Like, I was there where we did some really good exercises, really good exercises.
And I think too, Leilani, when business coaches get a client and they realize as they're doing the work that confidence is the block, there's nothing wrong with reaching out to a Dorothy-Inez or whoever you may know that does this work and saying, hey, I've got a client, she needs some work. Can I get a couple of sessions, for her? I think, 3 or 4 sessions would be good for her, is partnering.
Oh, I love that.
Oftentimes, because what's going to happen is that's going to elevate your success with that client, because you're not just looking at how can I keep all the money to myself and,
exactly.
like lack and limitation, but looking at, what my client needs is this, and I know somebody who can help them. I have a friend that we do this, we refer back and forth, and that's what sometimes we have to do when we recognize people have taken a leap they weren't ready for, because in that interview, how we do those discovery calls, they'll say anything. And then you
Mm-hmm.
get them and you're like, oh God, she's not who she said she was, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I love that. That's incredible that you guys do that. I definitely will add that to the list of things that I do. I mean, we already do a lot of back and forth, but I didn't think about it that way. I love that. Absolutely. So, Dorothy Inez, I want you to share with everybody everything that you have going on that you want to share, how people can reach out to you. I mean, you're just absolutely incredible. I know people are going to want to know all of this. So, can you share with everyone all of that real quick?
do you guys want to know? Do you really want to know, like Leilani
I'll just
said?
say yes for them, like excitedly. Yes, they do. Yes, we do.
Thank
I want to
you.
know. They want to know.
Yeah, and I would love to help you. What I do is you can work with me privately, you can work with me in my group programs. I have my program called the Christ Confidence Code. It's amazing. Don't let the word Christ throw you off. It's about a way of being. It's about a consciousness of connecting with who you truly are on the inside. It doesn't matter if you're one-on-one with me or if you're in my group program, you're going to get those principles. You can find me on my website, www.dorothyinez.com, or find me on Facebook so you can get to know me, because I think Facebook, Instagram, these are all great ways to get to know somebody that you're considering working with. So it's Dorothy Inez, no hyphen, on Instagram, and it's Dorothy Inez, all one word, on Facebook. So I'd love, love, love to help you, become the next best version of who you were called to be.
Mm, thank you so much. Thank you
You're
so much for being
welcome.
with
Thank
us
you
here
for
today.
having me.
Thank you for everything. Thank you for being you. I love you. You're incredible. And guys, go ahead and reach out to Dorothy Inez. You're going to be very happy that you did. Thank you all for joining us here at the Holiday Entrepreneur Summit and in Passion to Profits. And everyone have a wonderful rest of the day.